Took a job online working for autocorrect, and then I got fired. Seriously, they fired me for no reason.
Welcome to Across the Table, the podcast of Hannibal the Magician.
Hi there. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. It's an interesting. June is always an emotional month for me. There are a couple of those during the year. June happens to be one of them. It's Father's Day month. It's, in fact, today, as I record this, today is my father's birthday. He would have been 86, except for pancreatic cancer, and that story is played out. I've told you about that. I believe we've talked that one over. So I honor my father today, and the endless amount of lessons that he taught me as I was growing up. I miss him a lot. There's things that happen every day that I'd love to talk to him about. See what his opinion is as life progresses, and having grandchildren, especially ones that are far away that I don't. Sadly, don't get enough time with. Maybe that's going to change, though, in the near future. I might have an inlet on a way to visit more often, and I would certainly love to do that. But welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. It's been interesting. Yesterday, while having breakfast, I broke one of my teeth in half, just biting into a piece of bacon. I heard a crack, and I felt something odd in my mouth, and I spat it out, and that looks like a tooth. And then I felt where it had broken off at. It's bad. It's not one of the front ones, but it's the incisor, one of the incisors beside the front ones, and it looks like a broken tooth. And as someone who works live theater, this might be an issue. Sad part is I don't have a way of getting it fixed or repaired right now, monetarily, because of one issue or another. I don't have the funds, don't have a way to take care of it. So I have some painkiller, and we will see what happens. We'll see where that goes, and both aesthetically and pain-wise, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's certainly noticeable. It's a bit of an obstacle, but it's what life is about, right? It's the obstacles and getting through them or getting around them, and so for right now, we ride it out and do our best to not complain too much and to be grateful for all the other things that there are to be grateful for. Interesting story. Last night at the seance program, there was a couple in their early 60s. They had been married for quite some time, 35, nearly 40 years, I think, and they were taking a second honeymoon. They were going around to the mountain states, to Arizona and Wyoming, and of course Colorado, and walking some trails and seeing some sights and reliving some fun things. And they had the Stanley Hotel on their list of places they wanted to visit, because of the movie and the reputation and everything else. And they saw the poster for my program and bought tickets to come and see. And they had a good time. We had a really good session. But right before we got started, the lady was telling us about their trip and the things they were going to see and the things they had already seen. And right in the middle of that, she said, "Oh, and tomorrow's going to be a very special day. We're going to go to a sex party." And the room got very quiet. And I said, I may have misheard you. What did you just say you're doing tomorrow? And she said, "We're going to a sex party. We have some friends, and they have some friends that are coming over, and we're going to a sex party." And, you could have heard a pin drop. I mean, that's the cliche stands true. You could have heard a pin drop. We were all staring at her, and her husband was red in the face and shaking his head. And he turned to her and said, "It's called a gender reveal party. We are going to find out what gender our friend's grandson or grandchild is going to be. It's not a sex party, it's a gender reveal party." And that was one of the funniest things I think I've heard spontaneously in I don't know how long. And she went, oh yeah, right, gender reveal party. And she still had no clue as to what she had implied. Hilarious. Just absolutely hilarious. So maybe a story, huh? How about this one? When I was 6 years old, my mom decided that a young gentleman ought to know how to dance. It gives you poise. It gives you balance. You might make some new friends, and it'll give you an outlet for all this energy that you have. So, so I was signed up into a class. 5 boys, 5 girls. We were all 5 or 6 years old. All very, we were the beginners, the people that had just started. And as I recall, the class went all the way up to, I'm guessing older teenagers, maybe college age years. I do remember there was one girl who did a solo dance, and she, to a 6-year-old, 16, 17-year-old looks grown up. But I remember she was grown up, and she wore this silk leotard and a silk dress, and she very interpretive kind of dance with fancy lights and everything. It's vague in my memory, but I do recall it being there. But anyway, we got fancy shoes and we got fancy costumes, and there was a set of tap shoes because one of the classes I took was tap, and jazz and some other things. And I don't recall all the details, but I do remember it being a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And, we rehearsed in front of mirrors, and we rehearsed up on a stage in front of an empty theater, and then we had a recital. I still have the program among pictures and papers and things that I keep. And if you look at the film, if you look at the video of this recital, you will see 9 little boys and girls lined up along the curtain. The music is playing, and they are staring at their feet, and they are trying to remember the moves, and some of them are trying not to cry, and there's a theater full of people. And there's a spotlight, on the whole little line. And these 9 little boys and girls are trying not to die of stage fright. And there's one kid who's not standing in the line, staring at his feet, trying to keep up with the music, trying not to die of stage fright. No. This little kid in a purple pants with a yellow button down and tap shoes, up at the front of the stage, making up his own moves, singing out loud with the music, which he had been told several times not to do, drawing all the attention in the room to himself. Nothing has really changed. The curtain opened and I saw all those people, and all I wanted to do was make them laugh. And so I hung out in the line a little bit, and I remember looking left and looking right. and watching my co-dancers doing their thing. And I just remember thinking, wow, y'all don't seem to be having as much fun as I am. And I looked out in the audience and I saw my dad, I saw my mom, I saw my grandparents, and I just wanted to make them smile. I just wanted to show them that it was me up there. I didn't want to get lost in the line, 6 years old and my ego was already that big. So I walked up to the front of the stage. I danced up to the front of the stage, and I just started grooving with the music that was playing. And I remember my father looking horrified, like, oh my God, what's this kid doing? His jaw dropped open. But then my mama laughed, and she clapped her hands, and she pointed, and she looked around at the people that were sitting around her and said, I could see her pointing at me and laughing and smiling. And I never wanted to do anything else. I wanted to share what I was feeling with an audience. And for the rest of my life, that's exactly what I did. Now, I have been an actor. I have been a singer. I have been in plays and musicals, and I've been in a couple of movies. I fronted a rock band for a little while. I pretended to play keyboard for a rock band for a little while. I was a stand-up comedian, was a magician, like a worldwide traveling, doing card tricks magician, with a handful of paper, making a living, supporting my family. Supporting my family, paying the bills for my family, making sure they had the best of what I could give them, but not being present. Because I was out being me. And paying the bills and making sure, I've been a minister. I have been a writer for children's programs for a worldwide international children's entertainment company. Most of all, I've been a storyteller. I catalog the things in my life. I keep track of my experiences, and I tell the story. And the story's the thing. You tell my tale long enough, I might live forever. You stop telling someone's story, and that's when they're truly gone. But if you have a story to tell about me, if I have entertained you at a show, made you smile, made you cry, because of a story that I told you, that becomes a story in itself. And if you tell a story about me, if you talk about me to friends or family, and whether you love me or you don't love me so much, but you tell that story, I'd like for you to remember that it's not something that I did for you. It's not so much I gave you a show, though I did. I would like for you to remember it as something that we did together. You encourage me, you lift me, you inspire me, you give me stories of your own. And I sow those stories like Johnny Appleseed. And I hope that the fruit that comes from my plantings is good and sound and healthy. But the stories are things we did together. You play a picture in your mind of what you think I mean, and when I tell my stories, and you become a part of it, and I am very, very grateful for you. That's it. You and me, all of us, not us versus them. It is us and us. And the story's the thing. I hope there's love where you are.
I may not know exactly where this road is taking me, but I know that I'm exactly right where I'm supposed to be. The journey is long, full of joy and pain, but as long as you're smiling, I'll stand in the rain. I've got nothing left to give other than love. But the funny thing about that is, love is everything. I hope there is love where you are. I hope there is love where you are. I may be a liar full of tricks, but if you'd open up your eyes, you would see nothing but the truth behind all of my lies. I broke every rule, and I bore every boulder, and I carried the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I've got nothing left to give other than love. But the funny thing about that is, love is everything. I hope there is love where you are. 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 Anyone can wave a wand and make all their heartache disappear and call it art. But without heart, you've got nothing but illusion. Anyone can wave a wand and make all their heartache disappear and call it art. But without heart, you've got nothing but illusion. I hope there is love where you are. I hope there is love where you